Hi, and welcome to Global Insight.
All right, lay it on me. Can I? We can be irreverent, and there's no rules.
There's
right?
no rules. You can be
Okay,
irreverent. Tell us about
Well-
that. And I do have a question. Climate refugees.
Yeah.
You got me in to see the film. I believe it was in Copenhagen.
These are really the human faces of climate change.
Nature is now at war with us.
We're going to have to rethink climate change as being some remote environmental issue that the scientists will work out over there.
The challenge is no longer to save the planet. The challenge now is to save civilization itself. And that is not a spectator sport.
What was the making of Climate Refugees like? How did that come about?
Well, the truth is that if I were to be defined as anything, I would be either a human rights activist or an environmentalist. To be known as a film producer that has made some good movies is great, but at the end of the day, the world is in peril, and we all need to step up on a way bigger level than that. Truthfully, movies, good movies, important movies that speak to you can really change the paradigm and be part of that. But with Trojan horse those messages, otherwise they don't get heard. So I had been involved in the environmental world for a long, long time. My late, great, dear mother, Louise, started Stamp Out Smog in Los Angeles in 1966 with Marjorie Levy and Paul Newman and one or two other really interesting people, because, and she was considered part of the radical fringe by LA's then Mayor Sam Yorty. And how's my hair? People say, what kind of movies do you make? And I say, well, honestly, let's start with what's worth making. The golden rule for me is you can't make a good movie out of a shitty script. You can fuck up a beautiful script. So you have to start with a great piece of material, do the best you can, and hope that piece of material has a reason to be made. The history of Rhino Films is the story is that the record company, legendary and iconic record company, was started by two incredible gentlemen, Richard Foos and Harold Bronson. And Harold Bronson, one of the co-founders, is the husband of my twin sister, and I was an agent, William Morris. And I said, let me make sure they don't have a problem with this particular deal, starting a movie company, and I'll run it, and we'll all partner, we'll go lean and mean and under the radar, and we'll start a movie company and see how it goes. And that's what we did, and literally year one, we got Fear and Loathing going, and Why Do Fools Fall in Love, the Frankie Lyman movie at Warner Brothers, and Fear and Loathing at Universal, and that's how the company began. 2 or 3 years later, the Rhino record company became such a profitable business for WEA that they wanted to accelerate the buyout, and we all just said, great, let us have the movie company back, and that's how I ended up with it.
Can you name any movies you would like to remake?
I'm technically remaking The Elephant Man right now.
Wow.
Based on the Bernard Pomerantz's Tony Award-winning play from 41 or 2 years ago, which is not what David Lynch based his movie on. So I will make that. I hope it's as good as the other one, though it's not the same movie. I love that movie. It was beautiful. But it's 40 years ago, and frankly, movies are remade in this business 10 years later. I mean, can't tell you how many people have never heard of The Elephant Man.
True.
Wow.
So I'm excited about that. I'm not remaking it. We're doing our own version of it with a very exciting actor. My whole childhood, we had diesel Mercedes-Benzes because we thought we were doing the right thing by the environment.
We all did.
Who knew? And I've been driving an electric, a zero-emission car. Electric or zero emission, or I was an ambassador of the GM fuel cell program for 2 or 3 years. For 27 years, I have not purchased fuel except for a rental car or two on a long road trip. Anyway.
Next question. Can you name any movie or movies you wish you would have made?
Well, the funny thing is when I first got in the movie business, I said there are 2 movies I really want to make. One is Catcher in the Rye, and one is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Catcher in the Rye, I soon realized was never going to get made because I understood that J.D. Salinger had said, and I don't know if this is true or not, but many of you listening will figure this out. He had said, I wrote this to be read, not seen, and it'll never get made as a movie. So then I pivoted to Fear and Loathing because it was the other movie I so badly wanted to make or adapt, the other book I wanted to adapt. And it came together in a very odd way. And a lot of people thought, how the fuck did you get that? And it was available. The truth is, it wasn't totally available because the chain of title and the breakdown of it all and the way in which it finally got made was a beast. So availability is, all relative. Can you hear the frogs in the background? And Seth Rogen next door, and our gully next door, going through our property, is the habitat for, I would say, thousands of frogs. And they relax me. I love them dearly. Maybe one will hop on the table in a moment and be interviewed by you. Now, my reason to make something may be different than your reason to make something, But truthfully, if it speaks to me as something that has a reason to be made, great, let's go for it. That's what I would do.
That's right.
And that's my criteria, frankly. I love adaptations of books. I love biopics. I love parody. At the end of the day, and I'm actually making a lot of docs, which is part of my oeuvre. I'm actually in the narrative business to fund my documentary habit. But several of the movies I've made have been based on documentaries or documentaries I've made, and several of the movies I'm making now are based on docs that I've made. And that is underlying material. So at the end of the day, it's really important because you have to separate the wheat from the chaff, and sometimes you have no marketing budget, so you want to have a movie come out of the gates with some modicum of recognition, some value that somebody would say, oh yeah, I think I know what that's about, or I know what that's about. I'm really, honestly, I could die with being proud of my body of work. If I'm an actor, and of note, I don't like it. I don't want it. If I'm a purist, I don't like it. I don't want it. If I'm a capitalist and a long-term thinker, I want it. I think that it's wrong.